Hello, my name is Jason, aka Bacon Chest, the coach of the Kilda Serperiors, and welcome back to Game 2 of the Brawl for All 3 versus Farty66 and the Perth Persians. So, going into this game, Farty squad, you can see it there, I'll just swap sides. Yeah, you can see there he has the Garchomp, Uxie, Tentacruel, Victini, Galvantula, Keldeo, also had access to Mega Venusaur and Bishop. So I was a bit worried about the matchup going in, about the potential of Farty setting up the webs with Galvantula and then me trying to defog them away and giving the Bishop that Defiant boost. So I was happy to not see Bishop. I was also pretty happy not to see Mega Venusaur, to be honest. It had a pretty good time at stopping things like Virizion and Garchomp. I was carrying Zen Headbutt on both of those, specifically for that mon. But yeah, so I was feeling pretty decently about the matchup for my Coil Zygarde, and decided to lead off with Frostlass against the Galvantula, knowing that I guarantee outspeed, I can taunt, stop the webs from going up. The only thing I was worried about was maybe a Mental Herb set to just negate that taunt, but as it turns out, he's running Scarf, and so he gets those webs up and they're going to be there for the rest of the game, which is a bit annoying, but I decide I'm just going to get some spikes up. He can't spin on me with Tentacruel because I'm a ghost. He just goes for the Sludge Wave. I decide to go for the Taunt just to stop potential T-Spikes from him, because that would really stop me from sweeping with something like Zygarde or Virizion or even Mega Gardevoir. Goes for another Sludge Wave, gets disabled. That's actually kind of annoying because I'm just about to go for Destiny Bond. Would have been a guaranteed KO. As it is, I go for Destiny Bond. Clicks the Hydro Pump and misses, and I'm like, oh, well, now the jig is up. So, I think, alright, well, I should probably, yeah, go for the Ice Beam here, just in case he switches out to something else, but he just goes for the Hydro Pump and kills me. So, instead of that Tentacruel being dead, it's still alive, kind of annoying. It could still potentially spin later, although it is going to take a fair bit from Spikes on its way back in. So, I bring out Mega Gardevoir with Sludge Wave disabled, it can't do anything to me. I'm just going to click Hyper Voice to start. Oh no, sorry, click Psychic, yeah, obviously, to kill the Tentacruel. I know the Victini was probably going to come in, but it's going to take a fair bit from Hazards, plus another 20% from this. This indicates to me he's probably Adamant Assault Vest, or he's like max Calm, but I don't think there's any reason for Victini to be running that kind of set when he could run Adamant and actually KO things with Assault Vest, so I'm presuming that's what the set was. So I'm going to switch out here, obviously. I'm going into Heatran, it's my dedicated check. Yeah. And so he just U-turns out to Keldeo, makes a very smart play, so I'm going to have to switch out. I go into Virizion here. I'm thinking Virizion actually, looking at it, doesn't have the best matchup, and it switches in really well to Keldeo and Garchomp. So even though I am in like an SD Lumberry Virizion, I'm thinking, well, I can take Scald, not too worried, then I can threaten this thing out. Get some chip damage off with the Spikes, plus a Leaf Blade. He goes for Hydro Pump. I'm assuming he's Specs, given he's got that Sticky Web up. That would have done a fair bit, but as you'll see in a sec, it didn't really matter. So he decides to go to Uxie. I go for a Leaf Blade, get off a little bit of damage, and I'm thinking, alright, well, this Uxie is very, very bulky, like max bold. So I switch directly out into Heatran, thinking this is a good time to get my rocks up. Goes for an Ice Punch, clearly either predicting the Zygarde or predicting to stay in, so I'm just gonna, yeah, get these rocks up as he U-turns out into Garchomp, who obviously threatens me out. But again, I can just go to Virizion, since it's taken no damage, I'm not too worried about taking an Earthquake. I think, great, I can take another Earthquake, get a huge damage with close combat, but he goes for that devastating Drake, and Virizion goes down. But thankfully I can bring in my Tornadus right now, and Tornadus with the Z Hurricane will basically get a kill right now. There's nothing he can really do. Even something like Victini is going to get 2-hit KO'd after Stealth Rock, possibly KO'd actually, even with Assault Vest after Rock plus Spikes. So, now we get to this turn, where he brings out the Galvantula, and I'm thinking, alright, I know this is Scarf from earlier in the game. If I switch out into Zygarde, and he goes for Thunder, I have the opportunity to set up and potentially win the game with Coil. If he goes to the HP Ice, on the other hand, I'm in a lot of trouble. But I thought, well, the HP Ice isn't going to do that much, because I am quite bulky, and he's Scarf, and so I wasn't too worried about that. And I did want to keep Tornadus around for later, because it could potentially come back in and kill things like Keldeo, Victini after Hazards, could do a fair bit to Uxie and a fair bit to Tentacruel. So, I go into Zygarde thinking, well, I can still E-speed later on, even if he does go for the HP Ice. He goes for the Thunder. And now I'm thinking, great, I can get set up. So I go for +1. And he brings out the Uxie, and I'm thinking, well, this Ice Punch isn't going to do that much. But I just want to gauge damage. And yeah, I didn't do any calcs at this point, which I really should have, but as it turns out, yeah, he's doing absolutely nothing to me. I'm doing not that much more to him, to be honest, so I decide, well, I'm going to set up to, like, +3. I probably should have gone +4, as we'll see in a second, but yeah, I just set up to +3 as he's clicking Ice Punch. If he'd gotten the freeze here, obviously that would have been terrible, but he doesn't. So yeah, we're able to set up on this thing as he goes to the Ice Punch there, and I can click 1,000 arrows into an extreme speed, and that's going to knock this Uxie out. Guaranteed. So, I'm at about 40% here. Keldeo can obviously knock me out, but I do have +3 extreme speed. I did the calc on this I have 60 attack EVs, and I'm an Adamant Nature. It does a minimum of 56 and a max of 66, so I didn't have, it was about a 50-50 chance for me to knock this Keldeo out here. I actually get crit, so a bit unfortunate there, sorry about the hacks, but yeah, it was about a 50-50. I think I had a pretty reasonable chance of winning regardless, because I still had Mega Gardevoir, and I still had Tornadus to come out and revenge the Keldeo, and also, like, do huge damage to the rest of his team. But as it stands, that's just going to be a sweep now, as, yeah, Zygarde is just going to click Extreme Speed 3 times and win the game. So, good game to 5-6-6 in the Perth Persians. That puts us on 1 win, 1 loss, with 1 game to go against Dilwar, and the GB Garchomps, who is in fact the defending champion of the Brawl for All, so that's going to be a tough matchup, and yeah, we'll see you next time. Until then, peace.